Imagine a firearm that can fire several shots in succession without the shooter needing to manually reload a new cartridge after every single shot. This type of firearm holds multiple rounds in a magazine or cylinder, allowing the user to continue firing until the ammunition supply is empty. These weapons are commonly known as repeating firearms, and they represent one of the most important developments in the history of military and personal weapons. Before repeating firearms were invented, most guns were single-shot weapons. After every shot, the shooter had to reload manually by placing a new round into the chamber. This process was slow and difficult, especially during combat situations where speed and reliability could mean the difference between survival and defeat. The invention of repeating firearms changed warfare forever. Instead of firing once and then reloading, soldiers could now fire multiple rounds rapidly. A repeating firearm stores ammunition in a magazine, a tubular magazine, a detachable box magazine, or in a rotating cylinder. When the weapon is fired, the mechanism automatically or manually loads the next round into the chamber. This allows continuous shooting until the magazine or cylinder becomes empty. The concept may sound simple today, but when it first appeared in the 19th century, it was revolutionary. One of the earliest examples of repeating firearms appeared in the mid-1800s with lever-action rifles. These rifles used a lever located near the trigger guard. When the shooter pushed the lever down and back up again, the weapon ejected the spent cartridge and loaded a new round from a tubular magazine located under the barrel. This design allowed soldiers and civilians to fire multiple rounds much faster than with traditional muskets. Lever-action rifles became famous in the American frontier era and were widely used in hunting and defense. Another important type of repeating firearm is the bolt-action rifle. In this system, ammunition is stored in a magazine inside the rifle. After firing a shot, the shooter manually lifts and pulls back the bolt, which ejects the empty cartridge case. When the bolt is pushed forward again, a fresh round is taken from the magazine and placed into the chamber. Bolt-action rifles became the standard infantry weapon for many armies around the world during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. They were valued for their accuracy, reliability, and strong construction. Repeating firearms also include revolvers. A revolver stores ammunition in a rotating cylinder that typically holds 5 to 8 rounds. Each time the trigger is pulled, the cylinder rotates to align a fresh round with the barrel. This allows the shooter to fire multiple shots without reloading after every trigger pull. Revolvers became extremely popular sidearms for both military personnel and law enforcement because they were simple to operate and very dependable. As technology improved, repeating firearms evolved into more advanced systems such as semi-automatic weapons. While traditional repeating firearms require manual action between shots, semi-automatic firearms automatically load the next round using the energy produced by the previous shot. However, they still fire only one round per trigger pull. This design greatly increases firing speed while maintaining control and accuracy. Many modern military rifles used today are based on this principle. Magazines play a crucial role in repeating firearms. The magazine is the component that stores ammunition before it is fed into the chamber. There are several different types of magazines used in firearms. One of the most common is the detachable box magazine. This type allows the shooter to quickly remove an empty magazine and replace it with a loaded one, making reloading much faster during combat. Detachable magazines are widely used in modern military rifles because they allow soldiers to carry multiple loaded magazines and reload quickly when needed. Another type is the internal magazine, which is built into the firearm itself. Ammunition is loaded from the top, often using stripper clips that allow multiple rounds to be inserted at once. This system was common in many early military rifles, particularly bolt-action rifles used during the World Wars. While internal magazines are slower to reload compared to detachable magazines, they are simple, reliable, and less likely to be lost in the field. Tubular magazines are another design commonly used in some rifles and shotguns. In this system, ammunition is stored in a tube located under the barrel. Rounds are loaded one by one into the tube, and the firearm feeds them into the chamber during operation. Tubular magazines were especially popular in early repeating rifles such as lever-action designs. The advantage of repeating firearms is clear. they significantly increase the rate of fire compared to single-shot weapons. Soldiers equipped with repeating rifles can engage targets more effectively, maintain pressure during combat, and respond quickly to changing situations. This advantage became obvious during historical conflicts where armies using repeating firearms often had a major tactical edge over opponents using older single-shot weapons. Reliability is another important factor. Repeating firearms are designed to function consistently under harsh conditions. Military weapons in particular must operate in extreme heat, cold, dust, mud, and rain. Engineers design these firearms with durable materials and strong mechanical systems so they can continue functioning even after extended use. Repeating firearms also improve ammunition management. Because multiple rounds are stored inside the weapon, the shooter does not need to handle individual cartridges after every shot. This allows greater focus on aiming, movement, and situational awareness. In military training, soldiers learn how to manage magazines efficiently, ensuring that they always have ammunition ready during combat operations. Another benefit is versatility. Repeating firearms can be used for many different roles, including infantry combat, hunting, law enforcement, and personal defense. In military settings, repeating rifles serve as the primary weapon for most soldiers. They are capable of engaging targets at both short and medium ranges, making them highly adaptable on the battlefield. Over time, repeating firearm designs continued to evolve. Improvements in materials, manufacturing techniques, and engineering have made modern weapons lighter, stronger, and more reliable. Today's firearms often use advanced alloys, polymer components, and weapons and other advanced systems. Repeating firearms remain extremely important. Many modern rifles still rely on repeating mechanisms, particularly bolt-action designs used by military snipers. These rifles are known for their exceptional accuracy and consistency, making them ideal for long-range precision shooting. The influence of repeating firearms can also be seen in modern firearm safety and training practices. Because these weapons hold multiple rounds, proper handling and discipline are essential. Military and law enforcement personnel receive extensive training to ensure they understand how to operate, maintain, and safely store their weapons. Maintenance is another key aspect. Repeating firearms contain moving parts that must function smoothly. Regular cleaning, lubrication, and inspection help prevent malfunctions and ensure the weapon operates correctly. Soldiers are trained to field strip their weapons and perform routine maintenance even in challenging environments. From their early beginnings in the 19th century to their role in modern armed forces, repeating firearms have played a critical role in shaping the way battles are fought. They bridge the gap between slow, single-shot muskets and the advanced firearms used today. By allowing multiple rounds to be stored in a magazine or cylinder, these weapons dramatically increased firepower and efficiency. Understanding how repeating firearms work also helps us appreciate the engineering behind modern military equipment. Each component, from the magazine and chamber to the action mechanism, works together to create a reliable and effective system. This combination of mechanical design and practical functionality is what makes repeating firearms such an important part of weapon history. Even today, the basic principle remains the same: a firearm that holds multiple rounds in a magazine or cylinder and allows the shooter to fire repeatedly without reloading after every shot. This idea may seem simple, but it represents a turning point in weapon development that changed the course of military technology forever. And as military forces continue to modernize their equipment, the legacy of repeating firearms continues to influence the design of the weapons carried by soldiers around the world.